What's up everybody, how's it going? It's Burke aka Dansg08 here, and this is a little hangout video in which I'm going to be talking to you guys about the stuff that I've been recording recently. Once again, plans for the immediate future and a break that I'm going to be taking from the channel. So no need to panic, it's nothing major. I'm not leaving for like 6 months or anything like that, but it's something that I need to make you guys aware of and potentially ask for some help from some people that might have some insight into this break that I'm going to be taking. So I'll explain all of that a little bit later. But let's get into what kind of recording I've been doing, what progress I've made, and what to expect on the channel content-wise for the next month or so. So for FF13-3, which is the current main ongoing series, I've been making a push to try and get to the end of that game. And it's been quite a long game. I think I've spent about 45 to 47 hours so far. I've actually had a really good time. I mean, one of the reasons why I've spent so much time on it is because I've genuinely enjoyed doing the side quests and all that kind of stuff as well. And as it stands, I'm about halfway through day 11 of the 13 days that you can play normally on the game. And I've done all of the mainline story quests, and I've pretty much done every single side quest as well, which is not what I thought would happen in the playthrough, because I was kind of shooting for like 70-80% of the side quest maximum, but here I am having done pretty much every single one. So for FF13-3, there's 3 major things left for me to record. The first is the Aero Knight super boss that I got to fight with all 11 million HP, so that's looking like a really difficult and problematic battle, but we'll just have to see what's going to happen with that. Then there's the 13th day, which is like the final storyline day of the game, so maybe that's like a couple of hours, 2-3 hours of recording for that. And then we have the special day 14, where there's like this special dungeon that I've never seen before. I don't really know what to expect in there, and I'm going to be going in and recording that as well. And once all of that is done, then FF13-3 would have completely been wrapped up in terms of recording. Of course, in terms of what I've uploaded versus what I've recorded, I've gone really far ahead now, but I've wanted to make a push to get all of my recording done because we've got Stranding coming out in early November, and again it links back to this break that I'm going to be taking from recording content next month. So FF13-3 is getting close to completion, and I've had a really good time with it. I really wouldn't discount the game. If some of you guys watching this hangout haven't watched any FF13, there's a chance that it might surprise you with how good some of the writing is, how good some of the side quests are, how fun some of the battles are, and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely give it a go if you haven't already. Alongside this, the other main content I've got is FF8, the movie version. I wrapped that up like a week ago or so. That was another one I was pushing to finish, and that's another one that took me longer than I thought it would. So that took me a good 40 hours to record. And then of course all of the editing time on top, and all of the rendering and all the uploading and all that kind of stuff. So basically FF8 movie is complete. I've got 2 more individual episodes to upload, so I think it's 23 and 24. Once those are uploaded, I'll be uploading the marathon edition, which took me a lot of time to bring down to 12 hours, because the initial cut was like 12 hours and 55 minutes. And that goes beyond YouTube's 12-hour limit. Unfortunately, nowadays they've got a 12-hour limit. So I had to go back to the movie and literally re-edit the entire 12 hours and find little pockets of time here and there that I could take out in order to reduce it down to 12 hours. So I managed to do that without leaving out any like story or anything like that. So it's looking good. I'm happy with how the film turned out. I'm less happy with how good the remaster is, I'll be totally honest. I mean, yes, the character model's got an overhaul and there's a few like little improvements here and there, but all said and done, like compared to, let's say, Final Fantasy XII versus the Zodiac Age version of Final Fantasy XII, or of course Final Fantasy X, or any other version, I don't think that the Final Fantasy VIII remaster was that great a job. But for those of you guys that want to sit down and just relive the story as like one long marathon session, you want to watch it with some friends, you want to see if you can make it through the 12 hours in one sitting, it's definitely always a good time, and marathon movies have always generally done well on the channel, so I'd urge you guys to check it out when it comes out. Aside from that, we've got the Final Fantasy X P Birdman mod. That's been going really well. I mean, I've had a few little problems here and there, and there was a session where I had my first session where I got completely stuck and I just could not find a way through. This boss seemed pretty much impossible, and I got really annoyed because it's a boss that I really didn't predict would cause me any problems. So I had to stop recording, spoke to P Birdman about it, like, dude, what the hell's going on? Why would you make this boss like this? This is basically impossible. And we talked through it, and he kind of wanted to make some tweaks to make it much more possible, because he'd gone overboard in the... I mean, what he made weren't really tweaks. He went from making a boss a pushover to borderline impossible. So we had to figure that out, and we found a nice balance. So I managed to defeat that boss and continue the story. As of this point, I've made it to the Calmlands in the Final Fantasy X mod version, and P. Birdman has edited up to the end of the Calmlands. So he has the rest of the mod ready, but based on how I've been progressing through the game and the kind of strategies I've been using, the difficulty that I've experienced, or lack of difficulty in some areas, he's going to make more tweaks to the bosses to come after the Calmlands. So he needs a little bit of time to do that, and I need a little bit of time to play some other stuff and to do some other things on the channel. So I've got all of my content ready up until the Calmlands, and because I'm only uploading one episode a week, that's still going to be probably a month or two of content that's already ready and backed up for Final Fantasy X. So you guys will be getting your weekly episodes, no problem, and P. Birdman will get the time that he needs to make the rest of the mod, let's just say, quote unquote, up to standard in terms of how I've been playing through the game so far. So that's the deal with the Final Fantasy X mod. Lots more interesting stuff to come, some really good boss battles, and especially that session where I was raging against this particular boss that I couldn't beat, that I know I should be able to beat. So look forward to lots of cool and fun content from the Final Fantasy X modded version. So when it comes to Final Fantasy, that's the final content that I'll be recording, and then I probably won't record any Final Fantasy for a couple of months or so, because to upload the rest of the Final Fantasy 13 playlist will take some time, and for you guys to catch up with the Final Fantasy X mod as well will take a while, P. Birdman to make his changes, etc. And that will give me the time I need to concentrate on two things. The first one is Horizon Zero Dawn DLC. I believe that's like 10 to 15 hours, so hopefully I can knock that out in 3 to 4 sessions. That shouldn't be too bad. But that's something that I wanted to wait until I was pretty much done with Final Fantasy 13-3 and Final Fantasy X mod first, and then I'd get to the DLC. So that gives me about 2 weeks or so to get the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC done. That should be no problem. Then we have Death Stranding. So people who follow the channel, a lot of you guys are Final Fantasy oriented. You might not be following a lot of the other stuff that's going on the channel in terms of what I want to upload and non-Final Fantasy X stuff that I'm playing. Death Stranding is a game coming out made by Hideo Kojima. If you don't know that name, then he is the guy behind the Metal Gear Solid series, which is literally my second favorite franchise of all time after Final Fantasy. So I've always had a great love for Hideo Kojima. I love Metal Gear Solid to death, and this is the first non-Metal Gear Solid game that he's produced since he wrapped up that series and he split from Konami in like 2015 or something. So this thing has been years in the making. It looks like a really interesting game. I think I saw like one trailer back in the day for it, and it looked like something really different. And apparently the story is very difficult to grasp from all the trailers and all that stuff. There's interesting themes going on and all that kind of business. So I'm just really looking forward to what his vision is for this game, what he's got planned for us, and I cannot wait to get my hands on Death Stranding and see what the genius has done for this one. Now the game officially comes out on the 8th of November, but as is always the case on the channel, I try my best to track down early copies of the game because, as you know, for people in my position that upload walkthrough type content, getting games before their release is hugely important because it gives me the time I need to record my content and prepare all of my content so that when the embargo is lifted and all the channels are free to upload all their content, I'm kind of also one of the first ones out of the gates and I don't get swamped out by everything, because even if you upload, let's say, a day later, already there's hundreds, thousands of videos that have been uploaded before you, and you slide all the way down the search results and no one finds your content. So I'm doing my best to track it down. Usually I'm unsuccessful with this no matter what I try to do. People are reluctant to send early release copies to me because the channel, you know, on paper it's quite big, but when you have such great competition all over the world, there's so many LP channels with millions of followers and all that kind of stuff. Obviously those guys get priority and they get those early copies. So I'm doing my best, making some inquiries to see what I can do, and if I get an early copy of the game, then that'll be fantastic, because I can start my LP earlier in terms of being able to record it and have my content prepared. And as soon as the game releases, so like let's say 8th of November, straight away I'll be able to upload the first few episodes of what I'm doing, and people can really get into the game and start watching the content, and there'll be a greater chance of new people finding the content as well. So that's always what I try to do with new releases, but for Death Stranding, I'm trying my best to make some moves to get that game early. But we'll see what happens. Even if I don't, I've got some backup strategies in place so that I can still start uploading it on the 8th of November, but I just won't be as well prepared as I would have liked to be. But that's coming to the channel. I will try my best to record enough content for that because we finally come to the break that I'm going to be taking in November. So in November, I will be away from the channel for about a month or so. Death Stranding will come out, and maybe like maximum 4 or 5 days after that, I'm going to have a period where I'm going to be both busy and I'm also going to be out of the country. So as of about the 14th of November or so, I won't be able to record any content on YouTube till about mid-December. So I'm going to be gone for about a month or so. I will have likely tons of content backed up. So I'll have 13-3, Final Fantasy X mod, Horizon Zero Dawn DLC, and Death Stranding. So in terms of content, there's going to be a shitload of content on the channel. I will probably ration out the uploads a little bit more because it's very difficult to upload, let's say, 15, 20, 30 episodes in advance, because if you make a mistake and you're out of the country, then you've kind of messed up your whole upload schedule and all that kind of stuff. So let's say the 8th video of 25 that you wanted to upload had an issue, then that can kind of mess up your whole kind of system. So during that month, I'll likely upload maybe once every couple of days, and I will also upload my Final Fantasy X on the Fridays that I always do. So there's not going to be too much of a slowdown, but there's going to be a slight slowdown in the content that I'm recording. So that's the bad news for you guys, but the good news for me is that the reason I'm taking this break is because I'm going on a trip to the Far East with some high school friends of mine. So it's always been a dream for me to go to the Far East. It's one of the places that I've been most interested to visit in my life. I'm fairly well traveled within Europe. I've been fortunate enough to see lots of places within Europe, and I've been to America once. Outside of America one time, I've never been outside of Europe aside from the Asian part of Turkey. So I've never been further east than Turkey before. And this year I had some high school friends that wanted to plan a trip like that, and they asked me if I wanted to get involved, and I said yes, because I work hard. I've been making content relentlessly for years and years, and obviously I have my filmmaking work as well. I've been trying my best to put myself in a position financially where when these opportunities come up, I'm able to make use of them. So that's what we did. We're going to go on a trip. We're going to see Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, and Japan, all in the space of about 3 weeks. So it's going to be quite jam-packed, but we went for we'd prefer to see lots of places in a short amount of time than to spend a huge amount of time in one particular place. So that's why I'm going to be away from the channel. Of course, during those 3 weeks or so, I'm not going to be able to record anything because I'm going to be busy traveling, but it should be a really, really good time. I'm super excited about it. And if you guys want to see what I get up to on that trip, the kind of cool things I'll be seeing, then definitely be sure to follow me on Instagram, because I'll likely be posting stories and photos, and I love my photography and taking videos and stuff, so I'll be taking a ton of stuff while I'm out there, and hopefully it should be a really good time and an unforgettable experience for me. So that is the reason why I'll be taking a break from the channel. If you've got any travel advice for the places I'm going to, in terms of, I don't know, you should go to this festival here, or this event here, or there's this particular area of this city that's really cool, then feel free to let me know in the comments, because the more advice that I get for these kind of things, the better. So I'll repeat it one more time. I'm going to spend a few days in Hong Kong, but I've got friends that live there already, so likely I should be able to see what I can see of Hong Kong anyway. But the main places are Singapore, South Korea, and Japan. So in Japan, we're going to be in Osaka, and we're going to be in Tokyo. And in Korea, we're going to be in Busan, and we're going to be in Seoul. So those are the 4 main big cities that we're going to be visiting on this trip. So that's the deal, guys. Exciting times ahead, both hopefully for you and for me, because we've got tons of content coming on the channel from 4 different games, and I will be going on this trip of a lifetime and hopefully get to see some really cool shit and get to visit the place where Final Fantasy was born, which is going to be huge for me. So plenty of great content to come on the channel, and hopefully a trip of a lifetime for me in mid-November. Really looking forward to it all. And once I come back in December and I have a couple of days to kind of catch my breath and to recover from the jet lag, then we'll be straight back into the content. Likely going to be starting Nier Automata before the end of the year. So my goal will be to at least upload, let's say, the first episode of Nier Automata before the year ends. But we'll see how that all goes. So lots to come on the channel and lots to do in real life as well. I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching, and thank you for all of your support. Take care.